Tonight, trapped on a cruise ship after an outbreak of coronavirus.
We have no window, we have no daylight, and they haven't let us out yet.
Thousands quarantined in their rooms, including a Toronto woman who describes a nightmare situation. Plus,
we know how difficult and frustrating it is for parents.
We can really feel the impact of these cuts.
Elementary school teachers hit the picket lines for their first province-wide strike. And February 6th is proclaimed Bob Marley Day in Toronto on what would have been the reggae legend's 75th birthday. We'll look at how Marley continues to inspire artists today. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. More than 250 Canadians are aboard a luxury cruise ship off the coast of Japan, waiting and wondering what's next. They are now 2 days into a 2-week quarantine, with the number of passengers infected with the coronavirus growing. 61 passengers have now tested positive for the virus, including now 7 Canadians. Taylor Simmons heard from some of those stuck on board.
We're doing well, going a little stir crazy.
We spend most of the time watching news and hopefully to get some updates.
I'm calling it cabin arrest, as opposed to house arrest.
The voices of some Canadians forced into their rooms, isolated, anxious, and worried.
We have no window, we have no daylight, and they haven't let us out yet. As soon as you go out to the hallway, they tell you immediately go back to your room.
Aboard a luxury cruise ship with all of its splendors, hallways are empty. Confined to a small room, Lana Chan and a friend are trying to make the best of a vacation gone wrong.
We were actually trying to do exercise here, which is we're hitting each other when we're doing exercise in the morning.
3,600 passengers are currently quarantined in their cabins aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship. The ordeal began when Hong Kong officials found a man who'd recently departed the ship was infected with the coronavirus. Chan says she read about it online and went to officials on the boat.
They said they have no news, they haven't heard anything about it. If they have told us this way advance, I think people would be more cautious.
Japan ordered a quarantine of the ship before it could reach Yokohama Bay near Tokyo, testing passengers with a cough or fever. They've now transported passengers who have tested positive to hospitals. Staff announced today they'd begin letting passengers out of their rooms in small groups. In a statement, Princess Cruises said, food and beverages are being brought to guest staterooms. In addition, we are providing many in-room entertainment options. The health and safety of our guests and crew remains our top priority. For now, crews continue to wash and passengers wait.
I was so excited for this trip. Now I just want to go home to my kids.
Officials in Ottawa say they're in touch with Japanese authorities to discuss next steps, but it's unclear if the 2-week quarantine would continue if more passengers test positive. Taylor Simmons, CBC News, Toronto.
Meanwhile, Ontario public health officials are reassuring the public that there are no new cases of coronavirus in the province, and the risk to the public remains low. Still, local Chinese businesses are continuing to feel the effects of fears surrounding the virus. Business is down so much, some are on the brink of cutting staff and closing on certain days. As Farah Morali tells us, efforts to improve business don't seem to be working.
So we got our hot sauce.
Inside the kitchen of Yutong restaurant, Chef Joanna Liu stirs up the signature dish, chili chicken, invented back in 1987.
Here, our soy sauce is different because it's got a sweeter note to it.
It's dishes like these that typically fly out of the kitchen during lunchtime, but not these days. How does this compare to what it usually looks like at lunchtime?
Typically on a Thursday, Friday at this time, we would be packed. So you would see a line snaking down the stairs, and then you would see another line coming down this way. So I would say right now we're about 20 to 30% less customers than we would normally get.
The slowdown started the day after coronavirus hit the headlines and has only gotten worse.
I had somebody message us very recently saying that they will not support our business as well as other Chinese businesses in the city because of the fact that we are shipping products and perishables from China. And because of that, there could be coronavirus in there that can spread.
If this goes on, we have to cut the hours short. So this will be closed early, and then we have to also cut the staff hours too, which is, it helps, with the revenue, because it's already been coming out personally from my own pocket to pay my staff.
For Mei Liu, it all brings back painful memories of 2003 and the SARS outbreak.
Mom and Dad have been running the restaurant for 35 years, so they've witnessed that before. Business was down 90% back then.
There is hope, though, and that's coming from regulars. Some have even driven in from Ajax or Niagara Falls to support them.
So you're a regular at this restaurant. What keeps you coming back?
We most definitely are, and it's number one, the General Tao's chicken and all the rest of their great meals. But I think that's the staff. At the end of the day, they're also very helpful and kind every day.
We always say, May, I'm going to support you, and I can see that now too.
For now, the hope is the fear and misinformation will subside so they can keep these doors open. I had a chance to speak to Tony Louis from the Toronto Chinatown BIA today, and he's been going door to door to businesses like these in Chinatown to try and get a sense of how they're doing at this point. And one of the things he said that they're actually giving to these businesses are hand sanitizing dispensers in hopes that customers will see them and perhaps change their perceptions. But for now, businesses are still suffering here in the city. Farah Morali, CBC News, Toronto.
If you think we're done with the snow, think again. Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. Colette?
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we had some breaks, earlier in the precipitation. You probably thought, oh, maybe that snow's done with us. No. This system's still working its way through. We have a little more to go through the overnight hours, and even then some flurries kind of hanging in there into tomorrow as well before it really moves out of here. So say an additional 5 centimeters, we can hone that a little bit better, but gives you an idea of what's still to come on top of what we've seen. Then tapering off as we get towards Friday morning, a little further towards the west, but it'll take a little more time to spread eastward, so it'll probably be even into the early afternoon hours. So we're still looking at some nasty travel conditions. That's definitely the case. And a look at that precipitation where it was a little bit more of a mix closer to the lake shores, towards the south shores, really, of the lower Great Lakes. But then we get into more of the scattered flurry activity into tomorrow. The clouds kind of hanging in there. This is midday. Then by the later afternoon hours, we may start to see some sunny breaks developing and things improving, except the winds will be picking up. From the northwest, they're going to be strong. It's going to drop the wind chill on us, even though the temperature is not going to change that much, and may begin to set up some snow squalls as well. So there'll be a few areas highly localized where you're still going to be seeing some blowing snow and have some poor travel conditions carrying on. A look at what we have for those temperatures, then -5 barely changing, but feeling like -12 by tomorrow afternoon, feeling like -13, and some very cold airs coming in Friday night into Saturday, Mike. I'll tell you about that coming up. Okay, thanks, Colette. Nearly 1 million Ontario students were out of class today as the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario held a province-wide strike. As talks between the union and the government remain at a standstill. Angelina King has the latest on the situation with elementary teachers.
Instead of being at the front of the classroom, 83,000 elementary school teachers were on picket lines across the province.
Our special ed teacher allocation has been reduced. Our ESL allocation has been reduced.
The students I know who need more one-on-one support aren't getting as much as they should get.
Their union says a deal to prevent this was close, but after 3 days of talks, the province suddenly tabled new proposals.
We have not made the decision to do what we're doing lightly.
In a statement, the education minister said his government put forward reasonable proposals. Stephen Lecce wasn't available to speak with media, but MPP Robin Martin was.
I think they're overblowing the whole issue in a sense that all they really need to talk about is compensation. We've done nothing to change elementary education that they could object to.
Have a look at the picket signs that these members are carrying. Not one of them says, I want more money. I need more than 1%. It talks about cuts to education. It talks about what students need.
Hammond says salaries were not discussed during the last round of talks. The The union wants a wage increase to keep up with inflation, but the government passed legislation capping wage hikes at 1%. The job action causing parents to find alternate care for their kids.
It's unfortunate that it affects some families that are having to find care, but I think it's important to try to make sure we get the right programming and the right funding for students.
We've got some anxiety problems in our family, so they're not getting the things and the support that they need.
I just hope everyone comes to a resolution soon.
There are also local strikes tomorrow in more than a dozen regions, including Toronto, York, Hamilton, and Windsor. A second province-wide strike is scheduled for Tuesday. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
And the province has been compensating parents for the strike, paying families for each day of school missed, but it looks like some may have been overpaid. Several parents saw 4 days worth of compensation put into their accounts on Monday, even though at that point elementary teachers had only been on strike at their boards for 1 day. Government says it was a computer error and that only a small number of parents were affected.
On Saturday, this theater will be packed with reggae music lovers for a tribute show to honor the legends. I'm Talia Ricci, and coming up, one of those legends is Bob Marley, and as his birthday is celebrated across the world, we speak with people in the reggae music scene today about how his legacy lives on.
Bob Marley's impact isn't just about music, it's about a spiritual connection.
Today was officially proclaimed Bob Marley Day in Toronto.
It's incredible that we're still able to generate all this excitement. But then again, that's what Toronto is all about. It's a multicultural city, and Bob Marley's messages of one love and all of those things really do apply.
Now, today would have been Marley's 75th birthday. The proclamation celebrates Marley and those who embody his humanitarian and activist spirit. And tonight, as you see there, the Toronto sign outside City Hall was alight in the colors of red, green, and gold. And Bob Marley's influence can be heard in the work of GTA artists to this day. In honor of his birthday, shows are being organized to pay tribute. Talia Ricci spoke with people in the local reggae community about how Bob Marley continues to inspire artists today.
Mr. Marley's impact on reggae music is obvious.
And the founder of Canadian Reggae World says this time of year especially, music lovers like him reflect on that impact.
Him passing away at 81, I think it was, every year around the world on his birthday on the 6th, everywhere. It's a party. Bob Marley's impact isn't just about music. It's about a spiritual connection to the planet we live on.
Obviously, the reggae scene has grown immensely over the last couple of decades, but are there still ways that you see Bob Marley's influence in what's happening today?
He was one of, obviously, the most significant humans when he spoke. Like, the world listened and still listening today. Bob did reggae. Reggae is a big entity. Bob Marley is a jewel in that reggae crown. He's the king of reggae, but there's so many other kings.
This weekend, artist Esco Levi will be part of a tribute show in Brampton to honor the reggae legends.
It's always a great feeling because I just remember growing up in Jamaica in the country, and on the radio you would hear these classic songs, you know what I mean? So just for you to sing back those songs for an audience, it's always amazing.
What's the state of the reggae scene in the GTA right now? What are some of the challenges that you think that the community faces?
Our challenges is platforms, you know what I mean, to get our music into mainstream media, you know what I mean, across Canada. You know what I mean, because and I know the reason why, as I mentioned earlier on, because our music don't sing about sex and cars, and you know, we sing about freeing the people and liberating the people. So our music is always tend to place on the back burner. Most people think it's a niche market.
What do you think it is about Bob Marley's music and his lyrics that continue to resonate with people today?
Bob Marley songs are one of the only songs I could listen over and over and over and over and over. And I think that one of the reasons for that is because what he's saying, as I said, he was way before his time. One love, one heart, let's get together, feel all right. He wasn't referring only to black people, he was referring to all people, you know what I mean? And that's why I love Bob Marley so much, and he will forever be my inspiration, you know what I mean, in this music business.
Some great archival footage there. On our website, you can find other stories highlighting the Black experience in this country. We'll be adding stories throughout Black History Month. Head to cbc.ca/Being Black in Canada. And the Raptors still riding high after last night's game, setting a franchise record for most consecutive wins. But are they holding still ahead of the NBA trade deadline? We'll see you in after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
Canada's national women's basketball team looking to book their spot at the Tokyo Olympics, kicking off their Olympic qualifying tournament in Belgium tonight, playing the home team. Let's pick things up in the third quarter. Canada sparks a 6-0 run to open the second half. Kia Nurse hitting the fall-away jumper right there. Fourth quarter, though, Belgium cuts Canada's lead to 3 when Antonia Delaire makes good on a three-pointer here. Belgium would pull within 2, but Canada holds on with a 61-56 win. And the 2020 NBA trade deadline has passed, and the Toronto Raptors didn't make any moves. A very different approach compared to last year when they shipped 3 key players out to acquire Marc Gasol. General Manager Bobby Webster saying this afternoon he wasn't able to justify any of the offers that came his way.
The asking price for some of the guys out there was high. And so I think, like anything in a trade, you have to have both sides agree. And I think maybe the asking price this year was higher than normal.
The Raptors are currently sitting second in the Eastern Conference, thanks largely in part to a 12-game winning streak, a franchise record they clinched last night at home against the Indiana Pacers. We caught up with some Raptors fans this afternoon to ask if they agreed with the team's decision to stand pat.
I actually kind of like that they stood still. I think, especially after the last 12 games, they've shown that this team is more than capable of taking it further.
They've shown this year that they're capable of competing with the best teams, even without, a pseudo sort of star name like Kawhi Leonard.
Now, the Raptors have the night off, but they will face the Pacers for a rematch tomorrow in Indianapolis. Well, there is one Canadian on the move in the NBA. The Minnesota Timberwolves traded Andrew Wiggins to the Golden State Warriors. Wiggins grew up in Vaughan and went #1 in the 2014 NBA draft. That season, he was also Rookie of the Year. In exchange for Wiggins, Golden State is trading D'Angelo Russell and 2 draft picks. So that snow we got today, well, it isn't going away anytime soon. Colette Kennedy is back now for a look at your long-range forecast. Colette?
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we've got some very cold air that's going to be moving in. As those temperatures drop, it means this snow we're receiving, it's actually going to be sticking around for a little while. It's going to be hard for it to melt. I'll show you what I mean by the readings and what those temperatures are going to fall off to. But just to let you know, we'll see some areas where the snow light in intensity by tomorrow morning, kind of becoming like scattered flurries. But it'll let up in the late morning hours for some of us, and for others, just to say to clear the GTA, really starts to get towards midday into the early afternoon. But the cold temperatures move in. The winds pick up tomorrow afternoon, so it's going to start feeling cool with the wind chill, but it's really Friday night they fall off. And then we get into this kind of split weekend in terms of some sunshine Saturday, but a little bit of active weather for the second half of the weekend. So busy weather maps, I know, but let me just kind of show you what's happening. So the moisture in the system sort of to the south of us, a cold front that's kind of trying to push through and push it out of here, and that battle in between is where we're seeing some of that light snow carrying on. This is 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, still there. Then that front's going to pass through. Northerly winds will change to the northwest. Once it does, they get a bit stronger, and so there'll be a few areas where in the lee of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay we may see some squalls setting up, so highly localized where you'd still be getting some snow, but otherwise we do actually get into a clearing trend Friday night into Saturday as high pressure is going to be building in. That sets us up with that cold air dropping down from the north, but also with the sunshine during the daylight hours. Now Sunday, a weak disturbance to the south of us could give us a little bit of flurry activity. It looks like it stays primarily south, though, in terms of its track. So we start off okay on Sunday, but it's this next system approaching later in the day that begins to bring in, it looks like some light snow starting to push into our skies and then kind of carrying on. That will move rather quickly, so kind of moving out by Monday morning. Snowfall potential, now this isn't for that system on Sunday. This is just what I'm talking about between tonight into tomorrow morning. Another 2 to 4 centimeters, a few areas near the Golden Horseshoe around the Niagara region where you may see a little bit more than that. However, southwestern Ontario, -3, feeling like -8. Some sunny breaks by tomorrow afternoon. Hope so. -1 high there, Windsor. And there's a look at your readings around the GTA. And again, even though the temperatures you'll notice here don't change much, only coming up a degree, the wind chill actually gets colder because the winds get stronger. So that cold air Friday night into Saturday, -16 your low. A bitter start to the day Saturday, and even with the sun only going to -8 for the high. Cold Saturday night into Sunday. That next system that comes in and brings us some light snow is actually going to help bring those temperatures back up a little bit, Mike.
Oh, we are not used to that cold. Thanks, Colette. Unless you were a big Tragically Hip fan, you might not have known that there were actually two Gords in the band. Of course, there's the late Gord Downie, but there's also the band's bassist, Gord Sinclair. Well, he is now back with a new solo album.
You know, I lost my band, I lost one of my best friends, and yet that artistic pull, that compulsion to carry on creating is still there.
Gord Sinclair was in Toronto today talking about life with the hip and his new solo album. The music was created while Sinclair was going through the 2017 death of the hip's frontman, Gord Downie. The new album is called Taxi Dancers. It drops at the end of the month. Downie, by the way, would have been 56 today. He shares the same birthday as others, yeah. Job like that is our newscast for tonight. Before we go, Kathy Yan will be on cue tomorrow. She is the director of the latest superhero blockbuster, Birds of Prey. That's otherwise known as the Harley Quinn standalone film. Turns out it is just the second film she has ever directed. She'll talk with guest host Laurie Brown about her rapid rise from the Wall Street Journal reporter to Hollywood director. That's at 10 a.m. on CBC Radio 1. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.